articulate. I think that depends on that. Come in.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Aurand with Citrix. It's nice to meet you.
Tim with
Tim?
Aerotech.
Okay. Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Have a seat.
How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Great?
We've
That's
been
what I like
looking
to
forward to
hear.
speaking with you.
Okay, good. I've been looking forward to speaking with you guys as well. I really appreciate you coming in on a Saturday morning. I know that you maybe would have rather have more exciting plans, but I'm excited to finally meet with both of you. So, Tim.
他们在宁静了。
Oh, yeah, we've talked to the team, and Kyle mentioned the same thing, that she was going to be a little young, but we've kind of vetted out her experience, and we think she has enough to propose to us. So she's a little concerned with your experience, but the team has talked to me about it.
Okay.
And we're good there.
Okay.
So we'd rather hear what you've learned about Aerotech and how Citrix can help us.
Okay, well, is there anything I can do to help reassure her, or do you think that my age, that you'll be able to reassure her that I am more than capable?
Yeah, and just to set the tone, Xinyu, she understands English.
Okay.
She doesn't speak good English, so
Okay.
I understand Chinese, and so I'll do a little bit of the translation. I think she's okay.
Okay.
Right now, so just a little surprised,
Okay.
as some of my team has been, but you're here for a reason.
I'm here for a reason, that's
Yes.
right. And first of all, I just really wanted to tell both of you how much I've really enjoyed working with Aerotech so far. I had never had much experience with the company, but Kyle and Bree and Steph have all been amazing. So This has been really fun for me. But I really wanted to meet with both of you today just to kind of recap what I've talked to all of your past team members about. They told me about some of the problems that you're currently facing, and I just wanted to ensure that there aren't any other problems we need to address, so that way we can move forward talking about possible implementation and just how we can help make Citrix, and especially in the Beijing office, as successful as possible. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Not right now.
Okay.
I mean, I'll have questions as
Right.
you go along. I'll also take notes.
Okay.
I have a few notes from my team.
Yes, please do.
And I want to see if you've come up with anything that was different than what they had.
Okay.
And just to compare.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great. And please interrupt me at any time if there's anything I can do. So
Okay.
here's a business card for you, and here's one for you as well. So, like I mentioned, Bree was really telling me that there's a couple big issues that you guys are facing and wanting to try and tackle. And she mentioned that one of them is the fact that you're losing out on some closing of deals because you can't work from the field, and so it takes a little longer to respond to clients, and that she really thinks that's hurting revenue overall. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And then she also mentioned that she thinks there's at least a 5% loss of revenue just because of productivity. And, once a month people have to turn in their laptops and they get updates and bug fixes. And she was hoping we could start to try and tackle that challenge as well.
Yeah, the 5% number keeps coming
Mm-hmm.
up, and it's something that is on our list of things to address.
Okay. And then she also mentioned that there won't be laptops in the Beijing office, but that a lot of the current offices do have laptops, but they're starting to get really old and kind of past their date, and that it would be about 30 to 40,000 to replace all of those. Does that sound about right to you?
That's what they've sent to us for to try to get budget for.
Okay.
And we certainly don't want to have to spend that money,
Right.
and then also spend money to implement a new solution.
I understand that. Gotta keep the bottom line in mind, right?
Yeah, we do have approval for the 40,000
You
to
do.
replace
Okay.
the laptops.
So that is kind of in the budget if you do need to take that step?
It's already been approved.
Okay.
We've actually just been waiting for this meeting.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you waiting to meet with me and kind of learn a little bit more about some of your options. And then the last big thing that Bree really talked to me about was the fact that you really need a secure virtual desktop that can work on a tablet. That she mentioned there's $1 million project in Mongolia right now,
Yes.
and that this would really be able to help save that project. Does that sound right?
Yes, we're hiring our team in China.
Okay.
Is staffing the whole thing, and so we have plumbers and carpenters, and so it's
Okay.
a very, very busy time.
Okay. And she mentioned that the big thing there is just not only in the Beijing office, but in all the offices as well, that she would really like to convert all field personnel to tablet, and so she's really hoping this can all kind of be implemented at once. Is that kind of the same track you were on?
they've come to me on that.
Okay.
And the team seems to, from your conversations, to be excited that it will work.
Okay.
I'm skeptical, right? We're a laptop desktop organization. It's worked for many years, and so this is a pretty good shift from what we're used to doing.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're willing to look at it. I know that sometimes change can be a little scary, especially if you're not familiar with the technology, but like I mentioned earlier, please, if at any time I can clarify anything, or if you're not understanding some of the technology, I'd love to be able to clarify in any way I can. And I don't know, are either of you very familiar with the Zen desktop that we're recommending?
We've seen demos from our team,
Okay.
and they've shown it to us. So, is there anything out of China that has come up after you saw the demo?
相信掌握
Yeah. Okay. So, our team that is going to be working on the Mongolia project, they're fluent. They understand English,
Right.
But they are more comfortable in Chinese.
Right.
And one of the problems that we see with their devices, all the applications loaded on their devices are in Chinese.
Right.
So how's Citrix going to make it so that the Aerotech employees that are in China are able to access native language applications?
And that's actually something that Citrix does have a lot of experience with, because we are in over 100 different countries. We have kind of faced that challenge before. And when we first got into China, this is something that we did have to face right away. So our applications, we do have the ability to install them in Chinese or American English or any type of language you need, and there can be a converter system used.
Okay.
Does that help clarify your concern?
It does.
Yes? Okay. Well, like I mentioned, we are in over 100 different countries, and we are trusted by 98% Fortune 500 companies. So we really do have experience in a lot of different areas. And we kind of do this in a couple of different ways. So we like to say that we win because of a couple different reasons. So the first one is that we really offer a better user experience for your employees. So we're really trying to make their lives easier. We want to ensure that, you know, if they are at home or in the airport on the go, that they can access the work that they need to do from their desktop.
Okay.
So we also offer better security. So we do this in a couple of ways. One of the things we offer is that dual factor authentication, which I know that that's not currently in place with Aerotech, but that in the Beijing office especially, they really want to have that security. They want that extra level, and we do offer that.
So our team in China is very familiar.
Right. It's very
with that
common
type of-
technology over there.
Very common. Xinyu and her team in other roles that they had with other companies, that was standard to have the double authentication.
Yeah, and I really think that that's more and more the way everyone's going to be moving. Just,
Sure.
you know, another level of security is always a good thing, and it's not complicated for employees to figure out. So that is something that we offer. We also offer controls like this. So IT can really set who can see what information, or if they don't want certain information to be able to be seen from outside of the office, they can set that, but it's really up to be personalized by your IT department.
Okay.
And then finally, we offer simpler management. So we do this by allowing IT to do bug fixes or updates or any of that, instead of having to go to every single desktop like they're currently doing, or having employees turn in their laptop once a month. They don't have to do that. They have their control right there, so they can go in and do everything they need to do without taking your laptop or your tablet. And that really just would help, especially with that 5% loss in productivity that you mentioned earlier.
Okay. So as I'm thinking about this, you know, the team, what we're proposing, it sounds like, is we know the team in China, they have their own tablets, their own devices,
Right.
and they also have their phones. Bring your own device, if
Yeah.
you will. We are saying with our Aerotech employees are going to now have their work on their personal device.
Yes.
I can already see that they're going to be worried that IT is going to have access
Personal
to their
information.
pictures, right? You know, all of their personal emails. How does that work with Citrix?
Right. So I understand that you're concerned that your employees may not trust the technology. They may not trust that if it's on their personal device, their personal information will be kept personal. Is that right?
Well,
Is
you
that
know,
a concern?
it doesn't make sense if they're all going to buy a second phone, and now we're going to go back to two phones,
Right.
Personal phone, corporate phone. It's just we got away from that,
Right.
And it
It's not
sounds like we
efficient.
could be going back there.
Well, I really do want to reassure you that we nobody would have information of that personal information that is on their phone and laptop. And we really do want to ensure that people only have to have that one device. We're really trying to eliminate that need for, your personal desktop, personal laptop, and your business laptop. That's what we're here to do. So the way it works, and I would hope that our IT and your IT would really be able to explain it in a way that your people trust. But since you're accessing your desktop through an application, you're going in and logging in, it's kind of its own separate entity. So it's not being stored on that computer. It's accessing the server. And that server is, the business server. We can either host it or you can host it as well. And so it's not that all that information is being stored on their phone.
Okay.
Does that help clarify your concerns?
It does.
Okay, good. So, are you guys seeing how this could possibly benefit Aerotech and especially in the Beijing office?
谢谢姑妈。
We'll get back to that as we go through, right? So I'm going to table that and let you continue before we address it. I think we can get that at a later time.
Okay, so you mentioned you had both seen a demo before. I do have one with me if you'd like to see another one, but if you feel confident in that, we don't have to. It's kind of whatever you'd be more comfortable with.
We've seen the demo,
okay.
So the team has it. They've shown it to us,
okay.
And so we're satisfied with what it looks like.
Okay.
So yeah, we don't need to see the demo actually.
Yeah, that's fine, and I understand that you have seen that and that your team has done that with you, so you probably do have a better understanding than most about how that would be implemented. But again, I just want to reiterate, the way it looks at your work, say on your laptop, is the same way it'll look on your tablet, the same way it'll look on your phone. So we're really reducing the amount of time it would take to learn how it works on your different devices.
Okay.
Does that help with anything?
It does help.
Okay.
It does help.
Great. So would you guys be interested in starting to talk about possible implementation?
Yeah, because
okay.
We're going to be, the two things that concern me that my team has not really been able to boil down to the numbers is complexity of the implementation,
okay.
and then the cost,
mm-hmm.
right? What's the cost going to look like, and how is it going to save us money?
And I think that really is important because, like you mentioned, this is a business and it has to be partly a business decision. And I really want to help reassure you that will be able to save you money, especially because of the amount of lost productivity that you've talked about and how you have talked about you're not being able to close deals. And we would also, Bree mentioned that, those laptops that has been approved, that you could get new laptops, but you wouldn't have to replace those right now because you don't need that fast processing capabilities. So if we could push off, that life expectancy a couple more years, that could easily save you at least $100,000 a year as well. So here is an example of kind of the pricing. So we're really recommending this Platinum Edition just because of the security. You want that peace of mind of knowing all your information is secure. There's that dual factor authentication. And this is the licensing price per user initially. So you're looking at $310 per user for the first year, and that's just so that way we can go in, get it implemented, get everything licensed. But you see how, since this is only $310 per user, and we've already talked about costs of savings and how that's going to come in a lot of different forms, how that would more than pay for itself?
I kind of,
okay.
When I look at it. Can the team in Beijing handle, is that price within the budget of what you're looking at?
谢谢姑妈。
Okay, the same thing I was thinking. So Aerotech is going to be a large project for us,
okay.
right? And we think that we're going to spend a lot of money. And her point, what we've talked about before, is it looks a lot like what we're getting is standard frontline pricing. And we want to see what kind of discounting is available
mm-hmm.
For us to purchase such a large quantity. I mean, we
right.
have over 6,000 employees.
Right, big company.
And, I don't know if we should be paying what somebody that has 50 employees are paying.
Okay,
so I don't know if that's the case or not.
So you're kind of concerned about the fact that it may be more expensive for you since it's so big, and that you were wondering if there's any kind of deal since you are buying in such mass quantity?
That's correct.
Is that correct? Okay. Well, one of the things that's great about Citrix is it's very scalable. So, we work with very small companies, and then we work with companies that are over 60,000. So, we really handle the range and the size of businesses. So it is a per user licensing. So that's something that's pretty standard. It will be a per user license fee. However, the exact cost is really hard to determine right now because a lot of it depends on if you want us to come and implement or whether your IT will implement or what you're all purchasing from us, because it's not just a one size fits all. There's a lot of different options that you can go with, and that would be something that your IT would especially want some input on to see, do they feel capable of implementing this themselves, or do they think that they're going to want us to come. But it would be a per user licensing fee to get started. Does that clarify a little bit, or are you still concerned?
It does clarify.
Okay.
So, big projects in the
Yeah.
U.S. And in Beijing. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do the rollout? I mean, we're talking about a lot of employees, high revenue generating.
Right.
Right. I mean, you've seen some of the numbers. They're not small.
Right.
How does Citrix plan to do the rollout? What's your proposal to us?
So my proposal would be that you do include us in the implementation. It is completely up to you. You can choose to say, hey, our IT department's great, let's have them do it. However, we do find that implementation time is a lot quicker when it's our engineers and our IT guys that are really coming in, doing the layout, training, implementing everything. We find that we could have this completely rolled out in anywhere from a couple of weeks to 2 to 3 months. That would be really the time frame we're looking at. And there's also a couple ways we could go about it. So we could start in the Beijing office and do a complete implementation there and move on and do it office by office. That's probably the way I would recommend, just so that way it's a little bit more manageable. So we can see how it's going in Beijing, see if there's any tweaks you as a company think would benefit, and then we can continue that rollout. Would that be something you're interested in?
So what you're proposing is the problems we're having in China, we solve those with Citrix,
Yes.
And then we take a look at what we're doing in the U.S. I mean, I have $40,000 to spend on laptops that I'm not going to have to spend and roll it out that way.
Well, I really think that you should roll it out, company-wide, but I do think that it may potentially be a little bit easier if we start with Beijing and implement it there. But I'm not proposing that, you reconsider whether or not you want to do it in your other offices. Sure. I'm just proposing that it would start first in Beijing and that would be your main area. But if you would be more comfortable with company-wide rollout at the same time, that's also something we can do as well.
So are you comfortable starting in Beijing?
Sure.
Okay.
Does that work for both of you?
It does work for us.
Okay. Great.
We can start in the Beijing office and deliver Chinese applications to the team when necessary and go from there.
Okay, well, I'm very excited to work with both of you. I think that this is going to make your lives a lot easier and, more importantly, your employees' lives a lot easier. I hope that you see their productivity rise, and I hope that Beijing office gets off to a really good start. It's always really exciting when you're opening those new businesses and just seeing, how everything's going to fit together. So I'm really excited about this. Would you guys want to go ahead and start talking about an implementation date even as early as next week and just keep the ball rolling?
We can.
Okay.
We can do, we can't implement next week, but we can get the project team together with your team.
Okay.
And start mapping out timelines.
Would you want to go ahead and maybe schedule one for next week with me as well as some of my team and your IT guys, and we can really figure out, what is implementation going to look like down to the details and get that exact timeline?
I think it's time to bring the smart people in, the IT guys.
I completely agree with that.
Let's get them going and see what implementation looks like.
All right. What time of week do you think would be best? Later next week?
Let's get started early.
Okay. You want to do a Monday?
The team, I've already alerted the team that this could be happening, so they have time.
Okay.
And then I'll introduce your IT, the Citrix IT people, to the Aerotech IT people.
Great. All right. Okay. Should we plan on, first thing Monday morning?
We can start Monday with the emails and putting the schedule together, but it'll probably be Tuesday for our
Tuesday?
IT team.
Okay. I'll go ahead and just so that way I can alert my IT team and everyone I want to bring with me, I'll go ahead and alert them that I'm planning on coming here Tuesday morning and have them coming with me, and then I'll call you guys on Monday and ensure that still works for both of you, if that works.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you. Shisha.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
I got it.
We can all catch our breath.
Yeah.
Right? Good job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you. I'm very lucky. My instructor, Mr. Lehman, knows a little Chinese, so he was trying to give us a crash course in how to say things.
So where were you guys last night when they announced?
Isn't that?
It was dinner.
We were at dinner. So Henry Schein, they were being very nice and offered to take us out. So we were out there enjoying dinner, and we get a call from Dr. Dieter. She's like, "Where are you guys? Both of you made it to finals. I called your name. Nobody was here." I was like, "Oh gosh." So we made a scene in the restaurant and got out of there and quickly got back. So
Where'd you go to dinner?
It's Johnny's Seafood.
Okay. Yeah.
It was very good. It was over.
What time did you get back?
What was it? Probably not 8:39, somewhere in there.
Did
so
you go to the casino?
we did. We went in there. We were there for a little bit, but we were both kind of so like keyed up. We just went into our rooms and we were like,